Okay, so Pokemon Strangled Red.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, do you think we should say like who it's by and everything? Like
Submission by Toxic Lullaby.
toxic with two X's, just to.
The tallest of mountains, the roughest of ways. I'm Darkness the Curse. I can't talk. There are tons of stories out there about hacked Pokemon games. I agree. Some of them.
Pokemon Snaps.
Some of them.
Pokemon Black, was it?
It was Pokemon Black. Before there was Pokemon Black, yes. Some of them really quite neat, such as the one about a version where you get a ghost as a starter. Right, that one. That exact one. Some are ridiculous, silly stories about individuals dying after playing a game, with a game talking to them. Or Sonic.exe.
You mean like the one you just talked about?
God, don't these writers know less is more when it comes to these stories? Ah, well, I digress.
Are we like tongue in cheek here?
Are you trying to be meta? Because don't do that. I will.
Yeah, being meta is my job.
Shut up, Kane! I grew interested in these hacked games that are, apparently, in any thrift store, on eBay, or handed out by homeless people to a random passerby.
Yeah, like the other ones, okay.
I didn't have the pleasure of meeting these creepy people. I merely found this particular cartridge in a trash bin when the garbage truck backed into my neighbor's dumpster. I noticed
that's pretty much the same thing.
I noticed!
You're trying to be superior when you're literally going with the same force, type of thing.
Mysterious! I noticed the game and asked the trash man if I could take it, and he didn't seem to mind, because trash men are notoriously protective of their trash.
They're like, no! It's in the trash can!
It's mine!
Yes.
This is my, used diaper and soda can, not yours.
It was thrown away after all.
My
I, of
trash.
course, checked with my neighbor to confirm if they actually didn't want it, though they seemed perplexed, as they'd never seen it in their life. Their son made a grab for it, a little boy who saw the Charizard on the cover, crying out, "Pokemon! I want Mommy!" But his mother told him no, seeing as I found it. He didn't even have a Game Boy anyway. He just liked Pokemon. What a scrub.
I'm really...
These anime loving...
I'm kind of upset because... I'm kind of upset because the way you're reading it actually sounds like the way this person is writing it.
Oh,
and,
I know!
I know! It's... I don't know if it's, upsetting or tragic.
Thinking nothing more, I simply went home, looking at the cartridge sticker on the way. Just a plain old red version, the sticker torn slightly across the Charizard's neck. But that was expected with such an old game. I had blue version as a kid, so I was a bit eager to see the, albeit minimal, differences red version had. I was rather disappointed by what I saw when the title screen showed up. Pokemon Strangled Red version. Well, damn it, it was a hack. Hacks were neat and all, but they had zero monetary value. The original's quite valuable by now, and I wanted to play Red anyway, not this crap. Oh well, it was free. Might as well try it.
Oh my god.
It's trying so hard to be like, oh... oh my god, I don't even...
I hope the author actually meant for us to hate the main character of this story, because I fucking do.
This is Ready Player One levels of, unironic douchebaggery.
Yeah,
The only difference is Ready Player One is actually good.
The book is not.
No. Okay, hold on.
Teddy,
Josh, we're gonna
Teddy,
go right here.
Teddy, I want you to understand something. And follow me on this. You're the only one I ever heard say that.
Teddy, have you read Ready Player One?
No, I'm talking
No,
about
he
the movie.
watched the movie. I knew he was gonna fucking say that.
And also, the movie wasn't any good either. That's also...
Okay,
God,
okay, the movie was
please.
pretty okay.
You have
It
every right to
wasn't
be
great.
Bad. It didn't offend me.
That's not.
The point. I know. I'm just saying.
Hey, let's get back to the story.
No, please, let's make fun of you
Ready
some
Player-
more. This will be great.
Yeah, no,
Alright, let's listen to
Ready
the
Player One.
story, and then Teddy defended Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Biggest virus we've
Yeah.
ever had.
yeah, no, alright, so, sorry, Josh, you're actually gonna have to edit for once.
I'm not doing shit.
Oh, okay, alright.
The name was odd, however. Strangled Red. That's not proper comma. You. Never mind. That name made no sense. Why are you?
Yeah, why are there so many commas?
Why are these commas here? Not even in a morbid description of someone being asphyxiated, as people turned blue when choking, not red.
Thank you!
Okay,
Thank you, not
okay,
for
okay, couple things. First of all, actually they turn red first. That's A.
Yeah, I was gonna say, most people turn red first, like, you go red and then you turn blue.
B, why are you so fixated on the accuracy of choking victims? I don't...
Maybe there
I
is
don't
that, Josh.
think-
Maybe there is that.
Well, clearly they're not, because they don't know the people turned red first.
Has this author ever actually choked somebody out before? I mean, really.
Probably.
Get some more experience before you write the story, God.
Exactly.
Who knows? Maybe there was a pair of these hacks and I just got the red one. The more I thought about it, though, the more interested I became. The feeling of someone's neck crushing between your hands.
I can't resist.
You know, Addie, this is the point where if I would have said what you said, I would have screamed out, "I was joking!"
My initial disappointment turned into curiosity. I wanted to know what the creator had made, and I was going to note everything I saw. Every single second, as their eyes rolled back in their heads, and their breath slowly ceased to draw into their lungs. Sorry. The first oddity I noticed was the start screen had a Charizard next to the trader instead of a Charmander. Well, technically it cycles through, so I'm not sure if it's possible for a Charizard to ever show up, but I guess starting with a Charizard is not normal.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Also, the Pokemon never cycled. See, there we go. Through like the original versions did. It just stayed Charizard even after 5 minutes of waiting. You sat there for 5 minutes and
Just to watch sprites move?
that's
Okay,
some fucking commitment if the screen was literally doing nothing. I gotta say.
I would
He's the same-
like to give a counter argument.
No. No.
That's
I give another counter argument. This is the same guy that watches anime openings more than once.
I would say this is the same guy who puts dab in his Call of Duty clan tag. Just saying.
Teddy. No one gets your.
Nobody plays Call of
No.
Duty.
Why are you even here? Shrugging, I hit start. Noticing there was no Charizard cry as I did, like there was supposed to be. I saw there was a continue option, so I figured I'd do what everyone did with used games, and see what the previous owner had done.
I didn't.
I didn't.
Never
That
cared.
is actually, well, I mean, that is what I would do with previous
I
games.
didn't either.
And I don't give a shit. I don't just do my own
I'd
thing.
overrate it. ...
No. ...
True.
Thank you, Kane. Thank you for that.
Sorry, no, this is actually like. Can you imagine something like that? That would be legitimately horrifying. You're like, oh hey, look, a continue. Let's see what happened. Continue. No.
What?
He's in the back.
I blinked in surprise. No? What do you mean, no? How dare this game say no to one as mighty as myself? The game wouldn't let me continue no matter what, though on the fourth attempt, I heard the Charizard cry, quiet and barely audible, But there, shrugging it off, I decided to just hit new game, like I would have done after checking the old file anyway. I was totally gonna do that game. God.
I thought you just made that line up! I actually thought you were just being...
How dare the game assume his save file?
The screen cut to black for a while. No Professor Oak. No starting theme. Just nothing at all. Eventually, the screen came back, showing a bedroom, 2 beds, 2 TVs, and a computer in the corner. My trainer sprite was the usual one, consistent with the original red version. I was curious as to why it didn't ask my name, though. That was answered as I opened the pause menu, noticing my trainer was named Steven. Why isn't Moose here right now?
Oh, God, no.
No, this isn't my real name, or some stupid crap like that. Because I'm better than that, apparently. This game isn't self-aware or haunted, at least not that I know of. It just had a name chosen already.
So wait, is Steven like his canon name?
The dude is saying the trainer's name is Steven, but his actual name isn't Steven. So it's not super scary, guys. God, so meta. Curious, I saw he had the starter amount of money, no badges. He didn't look like red though. I thought you said it looked the same as the starting player sprite.
Yeah, that's red.
I think it started where the original sprite was.
His hair was longer, almost reaching halfway down his back. So edgy. Red's usual smile replaced with a confident smirk. Honestly, I found the sprite much cooler than Red.
Original character, do not steal.
Oh my god! Oh my god! It's the rival from Gold, Silver, and Crystal.
That guy's not named Steven either!
No, it's not, but it matches the description.
Next, I checked out his Pokemon. A single Charmander, level 5, named Mickey. Nothing was odd about it. Or should I say her?
If this connects to Abandoned by Disney for some reason...
With the name and all. Wait, stop! Yeah, that is odd if you're playing a red version, because you clarified her, but there were no genders in the first generation. Except for Nidoran, but we're not talking about that, that's the exception.
Well, they said it's a her because of the name.
No,
not because
he didn't even fucking clarify. I will out-meta this motherfucker.
I will out-meta
She had beginning Charmander stats, only knew Scratch and Tail Whip, basic stuff. The game seemed relatively normal, as opposed to all the stuff so far that wasn't normal, but normal. Returning to the game, I walked out of the room, noticing Steven's long hair was present on the back of my trainer sprite when the back was turned to the camera. I didn't recognize the house, but I descended the stairs to see more. Downstairs was another trainer, who spoke to me the instant I came down. Mike. Ready yet? Steven. Yeah. I assumed this Mike was my rival, pre-decided for me, a replacement of Blue most likely, though I thought back to the bedroom having 2 beds, realizing they weren't just rivals, they were brothers, or lovers. Well, we won't talk about that possibility.
Oh my god.
Wouldn't lovers just have one big bed?
2019, no judgment, fam.
Sure.
They talked back and forth, basic Pokemon dialogue. Become a Pokemaster, catch 'em all, stuff like that, before having a little argument over which is better, Charmander or Squirtle, which of course led to the introduction battle, like the one versus Blue in the lab. Simple enough, scratch, tackle, till I won purely for having the first turn. I took note of how much better Steven's sprite looked in combat than Red's. A different pose, his hair looking like it was blowing in the wind. A brief, minor upgrade, but still much nicer.
His hair blows in the wind like Dawn's sprite and
I left the house after some more banter with my, quote, brother, unquote, stepping out to the Pallet Town theme. Going to the east, I found this was indeed Pallet Town. The house was simply on the outskirts to the west. I noted there was no mysterious grassy field like a normal Pallet Town. Wandering about, I decided to check in on Red's home. His mother was inside when I talked to her. She commented on how handsome Steven looked, hoping her son would end up to him as a role model for when he became a trainer himself next year. Which of course led me to realize this game took place a year before the original Pokemon. Red was even upstairs, playing the SNES in his room, commenting, I'm gonna be the best too when it's my turn. I was starting to like this hack. It was interesting. A completely new adventure, a different character. Hell, Steven even seemed to have a history with the people in his town, a reputation, a personality beyond a silent protagonist. The people in town talked to him as a person, making conversation, not just spouting tutorial crap. Even Blue's sister had new dialogue. They seemed to be in a relationship too, as the dialogue ended with a kiss and a heart over her head.
Yeah, this is just really like sounding like some weird fan fiction rather than.
Why is Red playing a SNES and not a NES?
Only you would notice that.
Professor Oak simply wished me well, giving me a Pokedex to aid my adventure. He wasn't giving it to me to be the reason behind the adventure like every other Pokemon game out there. He gave it to me out of kindness, something to help me on my way, a gift. I was liking this more and more with each second. The game seemed to have an actual story now. It already had a you fucking.
I thought that was like part of the whole reason why you liked it to begin with.
I
It was like really
I was
cool.
somebody, not just a cookie-cutter protagonist anyone could be, not some blank sheet that could be replaced without notice. I became someone, and soon the whole world would know my name. Anyway, the story was
What's
different.
your name?
The story was different, though the actual gameplay, 2 words, remained unchanged. I went north like I was supposed to, went from town to town, collected badges, received the praise from the leaders. Steven's fame even seemed to spread as some of his would talk like the knew him. They knew him. I used Mickey for every battle, and she was growing surprisingly fast. He used her against Misty and stuff. What? She handled Brock with ease, even pounded. even pounded Misty with no trouble at all.
Okay, that sounds wrong.
That was the joke, you fucking idiot! She wasn't as adversely affected by super effective attacks as others, so she's a hacked Mon and she's broken, so there's no challenge to the game. Did more damage than a regular Charmander. She was a veritable powerhouse. She even became a Charizard at the mere level of 25. Not bad at all, I must say. Things started to get weird though.
They weren't weird already.
As soon as I reached Lavender Town, because of fucking course you did. I know. Lavender Town is the focus on every creepy story and the like, but it was the only place that was noticeably different. Like, I'm different, but I'm not different.
Just because you call attention to it make it.
You know what this motherfucker is? He's a Hot Topic goth. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's the dude that comes out with the fucking trip pants and everything is just like, yeah, look at me, I'm so edgy. Mom, can you come pick me up? That's who he is. I'm just saying. I know the type. There was
What are the type?
There was no... There was no Team Rocket invasion, which I found odd, though I did remember this was a year in the past, so the invasion wouldn't occur until Red's time. I tried to enter Pokemon Tower, aiming to get a Ghastly, but that's when it go odd.
What?
Still ask how he knows it's a year in the past, by the way. Like,
Because Red's
mom said next year when she was talking about Red.
Yeah.
Right, did he mention it was a year before that moment?
Yes. Well, before that moment,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Oh no.
Steven, I have no reason to be here. Steven wouldn't go into Pokemon Tower no matter what I did. This was weird. I mean, hell, there are a million places in Kanto you really have no need to be. Little random houses with nothing but children and NPCs, for example. Why was it here that Steven wouldn't enter? With a shrug, I figured I wouldn't need a Ghastly, seeing as Mickey could handle anything, so I simply went on my way, Lavender Town serving no purpose other than a passageway with the Poke Center. The game progressed normally from there, the remaining gens fell, and eventually I made my way to the Elite Four and defeated them. As with Blue, my, quote, brother, unquote, Mike was there before me, initiating the championship battle, which Mickey swept with ease. The, aftermath of the battle was quite pleasant. None of the tension that was present between Red and Blue at the end of their match, so there was no payoff, basically. Okay. The brothers congratulated each other on their progress and shook hands before... Sounds really fucking boring. Before the screen went white. Like, half of the satisfaction was kicking that jackass in the face after all the shit he put you through the entire time. Like, no more smell you later bullshit. Like, you got to, crush him. But no, this time it's like, oh yeah, cool story, bro. Before the screen went white. No Hall of Fame, nor any credits. When the screen came back, I was at the house again. The two brothers sitting at the computer conversing with each other. Steven, I don't want to. If I stopped it there, out of context, this is amazing. Mike, come on. I just gotta borrow her for a second to finish the Pokédex. The entry won't register unless she recognizes me as master for just a second. Steven, but she's my Mickey. Mike, I promise I'll give her back. Come on, please. Yes or no. I was a bit perplexed, so I hit no to be cautious. Mike, come on, please. No. Mike, come on, please. I realized this would simply continue to loop until I hit yes, so I did, just to see what would happen. Mike, alright, this will just take a sec. Then we'll both be Pokemasters. But you're not. You lost.
But you're not, yeah.
You suck. Fucker. Steven, ... The screen changed to the animation shown when two people trade Pokemon, which I found a bit weird seeing as I was solo, but whatever. You're trading the... This was...
But the trade animation's always the same. Like,
this was what was apparently supposed to happen. Mickey went first. I watched lazily as she began to travel down the trading tube. Snap! That made me jump, the sudden noise resonating in my silent bedroom, loud due to the volume being way up. Looking at my screen, I noticed the game had seemed to freeze. Mickey's still in mid-trade, but the game wasn't doing anything. With a sigh, I just turned the game off the game, wondering where my last save was. When the game turned back on, I stared for a moment at the start screen. There was no Charizard next to the trainer. Upon pressing start, I saw the new game option was absent, leaving only continue. This was strange, to say the least, so I selected it, the game starting without even showing my stats as usual. My jaw dropped at what I was greeted with. 1 year later. Oh, so scary! Anyway. The Lavender Town theme came first, playing its normal way, the screen slowly fading in from blackness. Steven was in the Pokemon Tower, which made the music even stranger, seeing as the tower had its own theme. He was standing in front of a tombstone, not doing anything. Wondering what was going on, I pressed A. Steven, ... Confused. I tried walking, realizing I was indeed in control at the moment. I brought up the pause menu and checked my party. Mickey was gone. Not just Mickey, all Pokemon. He had nothing. The Pokedex was absent from the menu. His bag was empty. Honestly concerned now. I checked his trainer card. He had no money. He had no badges. His playtime was 8,795 hours, which was impossible, as I had only 30 logged in before. But that wasn't the strangest part. His picture, the picture of the handsome, confident young trainer, was ... different. His eyes were blank. His face turned slightly down. That smirk of his was gone, replaced by a lack of any expression at all. That long hair of his, before in a perfect perm. It was a perm? Do you know what a perm is? Because that makes this way fucking funnier.
I don't think they do.
Was now messy and unkept. I couldn't look at him anymore. Closing the menu, I went to move out of the tower. But with every step I took away from the tombstone, the screen flickered, like it did when a Pokemon was poisoned. Gulping, I brought up the trainer card again. His picture was getting worse. Every step I took, he hung his head more and more. His shoulders slumped. He bent over. By the time I had exited the tower, he was on his knees, hands to his face, hair draped across him. I had guessed already what was going on, but this clinched it. I began to put some things together in my mind. I had always wondered why there was no champion in the original games besides a rival. Why is it you, the protagonist, had to beat your rival when he just waltzed in, no previous champion to challenge? Then it struck me. The answer was right there. The previous champion gave up. His precious Mickey was apparently dead. and with her, so died part of him. His Pokedex, the other Pokemon, his badges, his fame, all of it, he threw it away. In that year, the year that I missed, the year where all those hours came from, I even did the math. There are 8,765 hours in a year. Add that to my 30 from before, and it matched up. Even so, the game kept going. This should have been an ending, I thought. I mean, what else was there to do? I had no Pokedex, no Pokemon, not anything. What was I supposed to be doing? I talked to everyone in the town, but they all said similar things. Are you okay? Still mourning, I see. Everything will be alright. Please, is there anything we can do? Stephen never replied to them, and they all simply said the same things over and over. I couldn't put the game down now. This was all so strange. Curious, I headed off into the tall grass, and eventually got into a battle with a Rattata. No Pokemon was sent out, just Stephen's sprite. I was wondering how I'd battle. Wild Rattata left you be. The battle ended without anything happening. That was certainly interesting, and it happened with every Pokemon I encountered. Wild Pidgey ignored you. Wild Ponyta wandered off. The music never changed either. No matter where I went, Lavender Town came from my speakers, following me, sometimes slowed down slightly, sometimes not. I searched everywhere, every town, talked to everybody, wondering just what the hell I needed to do. My frustration was mixing with the depressing atmosphere of all this, making the experience altogether unnerving and uncomfortable, but I couldn't tear myself away. I was starting to get a bit angry, though. Nobody telling me anything besides giving me their condolences and trying to give me items like lemonade or coffee. Each met with Stephen... ... No... ... I slapped myself for idiocy. Is Stephen just me? Anyway, I slapped myself... Christ! I slapped myself for idiocy, suddenly realizing how likely the answer was right in front of me. Pallet Town, of course. When I went there, though, which took a long time, having to walk, no Pokemon to fly with, no bicycle to ride, and Stephen only seemed to move half the regular movement speed. It wasn't much different. I first tried talking to Professor Oak. These things happen. You were just unlucky. Next I tried Blue's sister. Please, don't leave home again. Red's mom wouldn't even talk to me at all. With nowhere else in mind to go, I walked to the west, finding the house from the beginning, which I had never entered since leaving Pallet Town. Inside was Mike, but talking to him was just as useless. Mike, I'm so sorry. I pondered for a moment. If this really was the ending, Stephen doomed to do nothing but roam Kanto in misery, haunted by the memories, forced to listen to everyone's concerns about him. As a last-ditch effort to do anything, I went to the bedroom and walked over to the bed. Stephen, I'm going to sleep... ... The screen faded to black for a moment, but then slowly faded back in, the world having a black tint to it. The Mike sprite laying on the other bed. I assumed this was meant to be night. Stephen, I'm going to do it... ... Do what? Again, I had no idea. Tried inspecting everything in the room. Nothing happened. As soon as I left the house, another dialogue. Stephen, it can bring her back. It can do anything. What in the hell was it? Something that could do anything. I couldn't for the life of me figure it out.
Gotta be a missing now.
Wondering about, I tried to leave Pallet Town the usual way. Stephen, not that way. He wouldn't go any further. I tried the home. Stephen, screw them... ... So edgy. I quirked my eyebrow at that, forgetting for a moment that this was not a real Pokemon game. The vulgarity just took me off guard. Yeah, screw them is so fucking vulgar, you guys.
Vulgarity of screw 'em.
I continued to look around, but there was nowhere I could go, until I accidentally stepped on the ocean. And Stephen walked right in, only the upper half of his sprite visible, like the swimmers you encounter in the Cerulean Gym. I didn't know he could swim. Stephen, the missing one. Ah, Duck, good job.
Oh my god.
well, I guess you could say Duck is just not... Duck just didn't... Ah, fuck, never mind. Duck
Even
was
Hey-
missing no clues.
I actually appreciate, though, that this reference, it's so edgy. The missing one.
I'm just so excited that I was right.
Missing one? I paused for a moment. No, he couldn't possibly mean that. I hadn't tried the missing no trick on this hack yet, but it just fit too well. That had to be what he meant. I surfed all the way towards Cinnabar. I began to
How?
Well, Steven's swimming, so that's surfed is in quotes here.
Okay.
I began to feel something was off, more so than it already was. Silence. Lavender Town theme had stopped. There was no noise at all, nor were there any Pokemon. I just kept going, finding Cinnabar and surfing up and down the east coast. Lo and behold, Wild Missing No appeared. Steven. Mine. Wild Missing No was caught. What the hell? Steven didn't do anything. He just commanded that atrocity of broken data to join him. No, become his possession. And it did. I was getting more and more disturbed by this point. Checking the start menu, I saw Missing No was not in my party, but instead an item, making things even stranger. I checked the trainer card as well. Steven was has his back to me, his long hair draped behind him, his hands in his pockets. Nothing else. Remembering what he said at the start of this night, I realized what I had to do. I surfed to land and made my way northeast to, where else? Lavender Town. Along the way, I noticed all the trainers oddly still out at this hour, because the trainers notoriously go to bed at... Listen, don't...
Yeah, because that's also something that Red and Blue were known for, you know? The day and night cycle.
Even when there was a night cycle in Gold and Silver, the trainers still didn't go away!
Yeah, it would have made getting from point A to point B a lot easier.
Wouldn't look at Steven. All of them turning when he passed, even those that were normally static. I tried talking to one of the officers in the guardhouse type buildings. Just go. They all said the same thing, though one sent chills down my spine. Sometimes, dead is best. My hands... Is this fucking Pet Cemetery? Just saying!
No, because the line would be sometimes dead is better.
Yes, I know, but it's close.
Yeah, and it's way too close. It's like 1 or 2 letters off.
Why you didn't need to spell it out. Like, literally everyone knew that, okay? Like, you're underestimating the intelligence of my audience. I'm just saying, you don't need to insult them like that.
Josh's audience, you're very smart. I didn't mean to insult your intelligence.
Well, not all of them are smart. I mean, you don't have to,
Some of them are
build them
smart.
up like that.
Okay,
God, you don't have to make them feel so overconfident.
What a dick.
Eddie.
What a
I
dick.
fucking
People are
hate you
confident.
guys.
My hands were sweating by this point. Steven was about to try the impossible. Something some would see as a crime against nature, which many of these people shared that opinion. I steeled
Human
my...
transmutation?
No.
I steeled myself. It's just a game, and I was going to complete it. You steeled yourself? I don't even know what word he meant to type there, actually.
Actually, that is a saying.
No, that is a term. That
Is
a phrase. Yeah, to steal, to solidify iron, stealing and stuff
okay. I've actually never heard that phrase. All right. Cool.
Really?
I really haven't.
Learned something new today.
Fair enough. It took an eternity to reach Pokemon Tower, but I got there eventually, taking a deep breath and heading toward the tombstone. I remember which one. The image of Steven standing before it was burned into my mind after all this. First, I tried inspecting it. Steven. Miku. ... Nothing happened. With a gulp, I opened the menu and selected Missing No from the bag. Oak! Steven, don't use it! I was reminded of when Professor Oak would magically tell you that you couldn't use a key item somewhere, like when using the bicycle in a building. Though the message this time was different. Thank you, Teddy, we got that! Even worse, Steven responded to it.
I didn't say anything.
That's the joke.
Oh.
That's joke!
I was like... I zoned out for a second. I was like, what the fuck did I do now?
Everything, Teddy.
No,
Everything.
this is great. This is magnificent. This is... Steven, in a world that cheated me, why should I play fair? This pain persists. I can't resist.
Nice. Yeah, no, I was like, you know what? I don't think it's that edgy. No, never mind. You're going on off
So
the
look
edge
around
train.
you and tell me what you really see. Steven used it. Steven obtained M at pound dollar.
What?
Letter M, at sign, dollar sign, or sorry, pound sign, dollar sign.
Okay.
Exclamation point. What in God's name did I obtain? I couldn't tell you because the game took away my control. Without my input, Steven began to leave the tower on his own, walking single step by single step. Allowing the Town started playing again as he left the tower and began his excruciatingly slow journey against my will. Every time he crossed one of the borders where the music would change, it got progressively slower, more and more disturbing. By the time he reached Cerulean Silly, it was a demonic rumbling. I just stared,
Silly?
watching him, trying to guess where he was going, but it was getting more and more obvious. He was heading to Pallet Town. The music had all but stopped when he got there, playing single note by single note. He went exactly where I had guessed, right to his own house, inside and up the stairs. At this point, there was no music. Steven moved step by step, stopping at his brother's bed, turning to face him. At first, I thought the game froze. He didn't do anything, simply stood there, and I couldn't move him. I did, however, find out how I could open the pause menu. I was terrified to look, but I couldn't stop myself. I selected his trainer card. There was a low growl noise, like a distorted Pokemon cry. Steven was looking at me again, directly at the screen. He was hunched over, his bangs obscuring his face. His hair was wild and feathered out. I never end, and that's the difference between you and me! Between his bangs, there wasn't even a face at all. Just black. Two red eyes looking straight forward. A white grin contrasting with the darkness. That wasn't all. 'Cause when your time is up and everything is falling down.
Oh god.
His name was now S exclamation point 3v3n. So it's Steven, but in leet speak.
So that lead speak. What is this guy online?
It's just, oh man, I'm gonna be...
Where's the X's in the front and the back?
Yeah, very true.
I couldn't look away, my eyes glued to his, not breaking contact for some time. Just look into his eyes. Just stare into those eyes and move forward. Slowly now, 2019, man, no judgment. Anyway, my vision was getting blurry until I couldn't see very well. My face grew wet. I was crying like a baby. I mean, you said it, not me.
Yeah.
There was nothing I could do to hold back the tears. I was with this boy from the start. I built him up to greatness and then forced to watch his decline after a tragic accident, and now he was this thing, this abomination. I watched him go insane.
Ah!
He is the tallest of mountains. He is the roughest of waves.
He's the toughest of trainers. He is the darkest of days.
Toughest of trainers, really? You shut up. Halting my tears, wiping my eyes. I closed out of the trainer card and tried to save the game, wanting to just quit. The game informed me that this was impossible. Oh my god.
Oh, we're really going there, okay.
Nothing can be saved now. When everything you know has come and gone!
Oh my god.
The pause menu wouldn't close no matter what I did. So with no other option, I checked the bag. Nothing happened. I checked Pokemon and there was none. A single sprite met me. It had 0 HP. You said there weren't any! But there is a sprite there, you liar! It had 0 HP. Its status, DED. Thank you. Thank you.
This is just more lead terms.
No, it's not even FNT for fainted. It's just dead.
Dead.
Yeah.
Its name, M at pound dollar. The horror of M at pound dollar.
No.
Is that what it's trying to say? Mouse? Like
No, it's trying to say Mickey.
Yeah.
Oh.
Duh.
Then-
But why at pound dollar? That's
Duck,
not
duck,
even
duck,
like
duck,
lead speak.
duck. Logic has no place here. I selected it, and I was greeted with 4 options. Status, it's her. Switch, never. Close, no. Strangle.
Oh god.
So is it gonna turn blue?
My fingers shaking, I selected Strangle, and the menu
Why?
closed. They're just fucking showing Steven in the room again. Steven, in the weird lead speak. Goodbye. Snap! The game shut itself off. I was more dumbfounded than frightened, in a bit of a shock. I turned it back on, and the title screen showed the manic whatever, and a horribly glitched Charizard. I pressed start, then continue. All I saw was a zoomed-out view of Pallet Town, showing Steven's home to the west, tall grass surrounding it, those unmovable stones blocking it from the rest of town. The image was completely static, no music, no movement, before fading to white, going back to the title screen. It was as it had been when I first popped it in, a trainer and a Charizard. I attempted to hit continue. No.
Okay. Say what you want
This
about
is
how
one
shitty this
stubborn
is.
ass game.
Will, how shitty this story is. It was kind of cool that they went back to the very beginning and explained.
You know,
why they said no.
Yeah. So you know what? I kind of made the like that's we got the connection. The beginning to the end. That's kinda
I
cool.
have to admit, I've read a lot of shit. Let's be fair. You guys
Yeah.
know this. At first, I thought this was going to be stupid meta garbage because of how it started, but like halfway through, this is actually slowly. Oh, like
Yeah. It's well written. It's not bad. But what would you with the biggest thing that I kind of realized out of this whole thing?
What?
Literally nothing happened.
Yeah.
No progress was made. Also, Josh, you alright?
It's all the interesting story, but once you read it once, you're kind of just done with it.
I was drinking water and I inhaled.
Oh,
I tried to drown myself, apparently.
But no, like I mean, like
Yourself with water?
from when he found the game and he pressed continue and it said no to now, nothing has changed. The world is no different. It's just clearly a continuous cycle of a really weird, shitty ROM hack.
He's just out like 50 hours of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he could have gone with the typical haunted, cliche, and he got strangled in real life, but he didn't. He just told the story of a really creepy game.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, this is probably the most believable one yet, because
That's also very true.
Seriously, all you'd have to do
Yeah,
is,
nothing supernatural happened.
like, all you'd have to do is take apart a Pokemon Red cartridge, program a custom ROM hack onto a chip, and solder it to the board, and you're done.
Kane, I love how you're the techie out of us, and you
What?
pointed
No,
that
I mean,
out.
This is why it makes so much sense. It's the most believable because there's literally nothing supernatural. It was just weird and creepy. Like that's it.
And like, they didn't try to go with the whole Steven is my name, how did they know? No, just the story they told was creepy. And all of it happened from the game. So I definitely give him credit for that one.
Interesting.